Welcome. This is David Bull's Human Meme. Today's topic, subscription burnout. Now, I'm old enough to remember the good old early days of the internet and the software revolution, where you could buy a piece of software and it was yours. It belonged to you. You owned that license. Software belonged to you and only to you. And then maybe every couple of years or so, you'd buy a new and improved and updated version of that software. If you wanted to buy the upgrade, you could. And if you did not feel like upgrading, that was fine. Your old software still continued to work. And now, oh my, how the times have changed. Today, you pretty much can't buy software anymore at all. You can lease software, but you can't really buy it. It's not even rent to own. You now pay a monthly fee for accessing your software. But if you don't pay, if you skip a month, well, then you're down the tubes, and you lose all access to what you created with that specific bit of software. I consider this all a crime of humanity, really, that you're locked into one platform with no easy way out of it, and you are forced to pay and play ad infinitum. Now, I've put together a little list of some of the software subscriptions that I have to pay for every single month. And I admit to you, my human meme friend, that I am getting burned out on this business model. I would love to go back in time and just pay once, one time only, pay for my software, own it, and be done with it. So here's the short list. Adobe. They were the first to really get into this forced subscription model. And if you want to make movies and edit photos and design websites, you are stuck with their monthly payment. Quicken for finances. I miss the good old days when you would upgrade Quicken every couple of years or so. Well, now you have to pay a yearly fee, whether you want to or not, whether you want the additional features or not. Google. If you're into Google Apps, Docs, email, Drive, and such, you're going to pay monthly for every user on your domain. And Google just raised that rent by $2 per seat per month. It's going to be hard to get 800 gigs of stuff stored in my Google Drive and put it somewhere else. Put it on a competing service. All my stuff for the past decade. And that competing service will likely just turn around and rent me some space too to access all of my stuff. So you realize when you're stuck good. And you stay stuck. Office. I don't really use Microsoft Office much anymore. But much of the rest of the real world does. And so you have to pay a subscription fee to access the software on your computer. And sure, you might be able to wiggle online and use their free online version with Microsoft. But if you want to exercise local control of your editing and saving, well, that's money in the Microsoft bank and cash out of your pocket. iPhone apps. Now, I could do an entire podcast on iPhone apps and how much they cost, but you know if you have a phone. iPhone apps used to be a fair delight. Pay once and you go forever. Now you get roped into these messy, nasty, monthly, yearly subscription fees where you keep paying and paying and paying until you are proactive enough to say stop and get rid of the madness. And let's do a little fast math here. Let's say you have 10 apps that you really love. And let's say the yearly rental fee on those apps is around $100 for each of them. Well, you can do the math. And that's just 1 year of renting apps on your iPhone. Vimeo. We host our videos on Vimeo. I like that service better than YouTube. But you do have to pay quite a lot to play with Vimeo, and once you have 1,000 videos on their service, well, Vimeo knows you're roped into their ecosystem and you're not going to go anywhere and you're going to continue to have to pay them to play your videos. There's no way out once you're in. SoundCloud. Now, SoundCloud may not be much of a player, but I appreciate their business model. I like how they're trying. And so I do pay them just a little bit each month as a good faith tithing. SoundCloud, I don't mind paying. We need them in the competition. Apple Music. Even if you take the $100 a year streaming special, you're still paying $100 a year to stream music you cannot and shall never own. It's sad. I miss the old days of visiting the record store and browsing for the latest hits and the hidden find, and then spinning that vinyl on a turntable. Those days are begone. And that leads us to Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Play Music. I used to subscribe to all those services, but I had to drop them. It was just getting too expensive to pay all sides to cover all my musical wants and melodic needs. It was the music that broke me. WWE. You want cheap access to the pay-per-view wrestling specials? Well, you're going to pay a monthly fee to get it. And you're going to like it. Or you're going to get body slammed. Netflix. Now, I admit I'm not really a big Netflix fan, as others. Their original programming doesn't really interest me, and their backlog of good movies is diminishing. But still, people pay because they don't want to be left behind. I get it. I feel the vibe. I don't pay anymore. They keep raising the prices on us. YouTube. Now, I do not know how anyone can watch anything on YouTube without having a subscription to remove the advertising. It's that pernicious and awful. And that's why I'm on Vimeo and not YouTube. The YouTube ads are annoying. So yes, I pay to get a clean video experience on YouTube. And that is probably the one subscription I don't mind paying other than SoundCloud. I want to see on YouTube what I want to see when I see it, and not when the ad meter decides it's time for me to see something. IMDb. Now, if you work in show business, you have to pay a lot for access to online portals like Backstage and Playbill and Hollywood Reporter and Variety, but IMDb is one portal you cannot afford not to pay because it is a massive player across all genres. And IMDb has information you need to access every day as part of your job. You have to be inside to get outside. The New York Times and the Washington Post. Well, the news matters, and you have to pay to get beyond their firewall. I will not, however, pay ridiculous Wall Street Journal terms for paywall access. But the New York Times and Washington Post are generally reasonably priced. But don't be fooled. The news ain't free. Only the press is free. Not the news they report. So I probably spend $500 a month on all of those subscription fees that I mentioned, and I need to start some pruning because that is not really sustainable. $6,000 a year in rental fees for stuff that's basically bytes and bits and virtual air. Now, the only software I currently own outright that I'm aware of, and that I upgrade as often as possible, is Final Draft. Final Draft is the premier script-writing software of a generation. And no Final Draft subscription needed yet. And I hope that day never arrives. And I know we're stuck in this new, never-ending subscription model. But as the subscription price rises and others join the subscription game to game you, we, the consumer, are going to have to make some difficult choices concerning what we want and how much we want to pay for what we need. Subscription burnout is real. And that, my human meme friend, is why I have always offered all of my content for free. Or if it's like a book, you buy it once, you own it forever. I like that business model. And hey, you've never paid a penny for any of the 260-plus episodes so far in this broadcast of your Human Meme podcast. And you've never paid anything for any of the 6,000 articles you've read on bowlsblogs.com. And I don't want you to pay, because I believe you should not pay. It shouldn't cost money for access to information that needs to be free. Free in content, free of mind, and free of being subsumed by spirit. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.